Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about one of the biggest ever leaks, one of the biggest ever hacks into Nintendo has just happened basically. So we've had a leak over at GameFreak and it is one of the biggest leaks we've ever seen in Nintendo history. Before we get into this video though, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button and also liking because it does massively help us out. And thank you to everybody that has recently helped subscribe or like or do any of that stuff, because that has really helped out the channel. Now this leak is absolutely huge. It talks about a new Pokemon game, a new multiplayer game, a new generation of Pokemon as well. The Switch codenames in there. Lots and lots of information to go over. This is one of the biggest leaks in Nintendo history. This comes from mynintendonews.com. There will be a link down below in the description to go check this out. But they said, according to Pokemon Insider Centro Leaks, GameFreak was hacked earlier today, and everything from the source codes from older Pokemon games to Switch 2 codename has now been leaked onto the internet. The first thing that they talk about is a Pokemon MMO game. Now, this is under consideration. It's under a label known as MMO Test. This was found during the data breach, and we can assume that Pokemon or GameFreak, they're working on a sort of MMO online game, which would be really good to see. I feel like that would be good for Switch Online, really good for the Pokemon company. Be interesting to see. Of course, we had Pokemon Unite, which was kind of similar to that, but MMO game, kind of like, you know, like a 3D open world game online like that would be really good. Kind of like Power World, but actually with Pokemon. The next leak in there was codename Synapse, I believe that's how you say that, and that was a battle-focused multiplayer game that is being jointly developed by GameFreak and also Ilka. Now Ilka, if you don't know, they actually made the Diamond and Pearl remakes back in 2021, so they've been working close with GameFreak and the Pokemon Company for a little bit now. They said it's like a Splatoon-like game, and we don't know if this is original IP, we don't know what this is, we don't know if it's a Pokemon like multiplayer game, we don't know what it is. It could just be its own IP, and that begs the question, could that come to other services or other like consoles, that kind of thing? Of course, Little Town Hero came to PS4. Could we see, you know, these games come to different platforms? Of course, Game Freak is a second-party developer. They can still make games for other platforms. Could we see that happen? Also heard information about the next generation Pokemon games, Generation 10. That has its codename Gaia. I don't know how to say that. G-A-I-A. It's also been developed for Switch and Switch 2, with them having the names K and N. Now, I don't know what that means, the K and N. I don't know what that could, you know, resemble, but it's interesting to see that Nintendo are developing this game for the Switch and the Switch 2. Now, does that mean there's going to be two different types of cartridges on store shelves? Does that mean you can buy a Switch 1 version or a Switch 2 version? Or does that simply mean that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible and then you can just, you know, put the cartridge in there? And then from there, if you put a cartridge into the Switch 2, does it then just update to give you like the better visuals, the better frame rate, that kind of thing? Kind of like what happens with the PS4, PS4 Pro, that kind of situation. Speaking of the Switch 2, the codename has been revealed here, and the codename is apparently Ounce. Now, codenames don't really mean much. Of course, the Switch was called the NX, GameCube was called the Dolphin, so yeah, it doesn't really mean much for the codename, but from this we could imply Ounce means maybe like it's quite light. Maybe it's a really thin system that doesn't really weigh much. I don't know, it doesn't really mean much here, but we have a codename for the Switch 2, and it's apparently called Ounce. Finally from this leak, source codes and beta builds for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, as well as Black and White 2, were leaked as well alongside everything else. So yeah, massive big leak here from Game Freak. Now, is this real? Is this people just talking online? I believe there's actually like some credibility behind this. It seems to be pretty real, and I feel like people are going to get excited. Of course, we haven't heard anything from Game Freak or the Pokemon Company in a very long time, so it is interesting to hear some news. I'm excited for that Pokemon MMO. I feel like that would be really good. I feel like it would be good for Pokemon and Switch Online if that was to come out. Codename Synapse is very strange. An online battle-focused multiplayer game, a Splatoon-like game from Game Freak. Very interesting. Would love to hear more about that. And also Generation 10. We knew Generation 10 was probably coming, but it coming out for Switch 1 and Switch 2, that's great as well. Of course, hearing that codename as well for the Switch 2 is interesting to see as well. Lots of stuff is going on behind the scenes at Nintendo. As always, you know, Nintendo are always working on stuff behind the scenes. Things are being developed right now for the Switch 2. We just need to wait for actual announcements. I know people are getting excited, but we really shouldn't be hacking into companies like this. I don't know who hacked in to GameFreak, but it's still not great. They should not have been hacked into. But yeah, we just need to hold on. We need to, be patient, because updates are coming, but we just need to be patient. Overall though, this is a massive, massive leak, and it's revealed lots of information. It's probably one of the biggest leaks we've ever seen in Nintendo history. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. Are you excited for anything they announced here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this massive leak, and I'll see you in another video.